Hello there everyone, I'm Lilith Fox and a warm welcome to Alderwood. This video is the second episode of my Animal Crossing Let's Play series. If you haven't already seen the first video in this series, you can find it right here or in the description below. In this Let's Play series, we are taking things slowly, one day at a time, with no time travel. We are taking time to wander aimlessly and find joy in the little moments and details that make Animal Crossing special. When I started up the game on day 5, Tom Nook let us know that it would be our last day with the Resident Services tent. Construction on Resident Services would start up the following morning. This was a bittersweet moment since I was really enjoying the simplicity and nostalgia of the Resident Services area at the start of the game. But, sure enough, when I checked in on Alderwood on day 6, our little tent was under construction. Staring up at the new big structure, I was reminded that sometimes change happens whether we want it or not, whether we are ready for it or not. In these moments, I try to be mindful that movement and flux can hold an inherent beauty. Think of the phases of the moon, the slow change of the seasons, the rising and ebbing tides of the sea. We can't stand still if we want to grow. And grow we have. When I signed in on the 7th day, Tom Nook proudly greeted me in the upgraded plaza with the new Resident Services building standing tall in the background. He let us know that construction was complete and that he'd added someone to our island staff. Sweet Isabel, who will be helping to support the residents of Alderwood and taking over the morning announcements. Tom Nook asks us to check in about the new services by stopping into the new building, and he reminds us that Alderwood is growing, growing, growing. The moment we enter Resident Services, Tom Nook is excited to tell us about all the new features and tasks we have unlocked with our new building. But most importantly, he fills us in on his vision for our community: to have the KK Slider come to play a show at Alderwood. Known as Project KK, Tom Nook's plan has 3 stages. He explains. First, we need more visitors to come to our island. Next, we need more folks to move here. And finally, we work hard to increase the overall image of the island. We'll increase the number of tourists and residents, and we'll create an Alderwood so loved, word of how great this island is will reach KK, and he'll accept our offer to host a concert here. For the first stage, increasing the number of visitors to the island, Tom Nook would like us to put out a campsite. He gives us instructions for crafting a campsite and asks us to find the perfect spot. So we set out to collect some materials, and then crafted our campsite kit. When setting out buildings at the start of the game, before unlocking terraforming, I like to keep things on ground level and somewhat close to the beach, so that when it comes time to plan our future layout and terraform, there's not too much to move out of the way. From the moment I saw our map, I knew that I wanted to use some of these longer rocks at the back of the map to help create more dynamic areas. I liked the idea of putting the campsite beside the rock and extending the camping area out to the sea. Moving the campsite down a bit so there would be room for trees or other decorations between the tent and the water, I set down the plot and felt excited to grow our little community. The next day, though construction on the campsite had finished, we did not have a camper to visit. It was a quiet, rainy Sunday, so I spent the day talking to my villagers, fishing, decorating around Resident Services and the new campsite area, and, of course, buying a few turnips from Daisy May. Finally, on day 9, Isabel let us know that our first camper had arrived. The only camper in the game that must move to your island, the first camper is most often a smug villager, though I have heard people say that they've gotten other personalities. As I mentioned in the first episode of this series, I don't want to rush into finding my dreamies this time around. I want to try to connect with villagers who aren't really my vibe and won't be staying permanently. So I had already decided that no matter who showed up in the campsite, I would do my best to love them and enjoy them, and I was really excited to see who would be joining us on this adventure. Walking up to the tent, I had no idea what I was in for. Hippo. A pompous, lime green hippo with a school blazer, severe eyebrows, and greasy hair. I could hear Tom Nook laughing in the distance. With no choice but to invite the hippo to Alderwood, I set off to resident services to check in with Tom Nook. Tom Nook, still chuckling beneath his breath, asks us to set out a housing plot for Hippo, who will move in the following day. We find an open space on the beach and head back to the campsite to let Hippo know the good news. Welcome to Alderwood, bud. You will be my first test. Will we find a way to love Hippo? I'm not so sure. But either way, here we are, growing, growing, growing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. If you'd like to see more episodes in this series, as well as dream tours and much more, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Take good care, friends, and see you soon.